Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm gonna deck profile my Ice Barrier deck profile. I didn't want to put in the title that I want to locals with it, but I technically did, though it wasn't much of a win. Since it was a bye, I beat Dinos and then I drew with against PK, and then tiebreakers with me at first. But anyway, jumping into the deck, I'm playing standard 3 speakers. The token she gives is great, and she's a level 4 body, which helps you make Toad with Revealer. Revealer special summons your tuner out of your deck by discarding 1. So generally, the play you want to see is with her and the speaker, and then you can make instant Bahamut Toad with that. Then you have a longer line of combo play, but we could save that for another time. So you're summoning off the revealer is generally the Hexa Spirit, and the Hexa Spirit can let you dump another Ice Barrier level 3 or lower, and it becomes that level. So Prior is generally your first target you go for, because if you can get like Wayne into the graveyard, you can tribute the Prior, especially the Wayne, and search a spell like the Reborn spell, which is really cool. If not, you send something like Zuijin if you already have a Prior, so you can have an extender on the next turn, because it special itself out of the grave by reducing levels of another Ice Barrier. And then we're playing the 2 General Waynes. General Wayne lets you, when special summoned, search your Ice Barrier spell. So you can get like the Rhoda for Ice Barriers, or the special summon cards like the Monster Born, or the one that's specials from deck. And then the last Ice Barrier monster we play is Defender. I am not playing the Geomancer because I'm not playing that build. I personally brick too much with that one. This build I'm playing feels a little more consistent. I'm playing the Frog Engine instead. The triple swap 1 Ronin. This just lets you get access to Toad much easier, and having Toad's effect go off on your opponent's turn is actually relevant if you want to synchro into Trish easily on their turn. And plus, Swap Frog has this small little nice ability to either make a Toad using the Prior, because Prior is also an Aqua type. Sorry about that glare. And then it can also just dump it, because Swap Frog can just dump Aquas, so you get 1 less dead draw later in the game. And the last water monster we play is, we're still playing the Crystron Citri, because it allows us to Hulk, or we get this off of Hulk, and then it allows us to synchro on our opponent's turn into disruptive cards. Moving on to the hand traps that we play triple Droll, triple Ash, just 6 hand traps. Then I'm playing the 3 medallions, which is your Rhoda of the deck, except it searches any Ice Barrier monster. 3 Freezing Change, which is a monster born for level 4 or lowers. The other effect it has is Ice Barrier monsters, if you control 3 or more, are unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's monsters that were special summoned from the extra deck. That effect is almost never going to be relevant, but it's something to keep in mind in case it ever comes up. And then I'm playing 2 Wins Over the Ice Barrier, just to potentially fix awkward dead draws, to let you special summon into other combo pieces. And then it has the nice graveyard effect, of course, which you can, not on the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it to add Ice Barrier from your banished or graveyard to your hand. And then rounding off spells, we have our powerful one-ofs, Called By, Foolish Burial, Reborn. And I'm also playing 2 Book of Moons, just as a protection / interruption on either player's turn. And lastly, we're playing 2 traps, which are 2 strikes. The strikes are just good interruptions on your opponent's turn after you set up a board that you can't stop with their monster effects, or if you just want to avoid like gammas and stuff. Moving on to the extra deck, starting with the Xyz, we're playing the 1 Bahamut Shark and 2 Toads. Don't mind the sleeves, that kind of was lazy. Pretty self-explanatory here, because you play the level 4s, you can just churn out a Toad, and then you can also hard make Toad with Prior, Swap, Ronin. Moving on to synchros, we have Crystron Quandax. This one I've never really made in the deck. It can come up, but it's very rare. I'd probably swap it for Toad realistically, or another Power Synchro, or maybe even another Link. And then I play 1 Powered Zektron, 2 special. Usually you go into this when you make your Citri, because it's level 6, and it helps you get to Trish. along with Shooting Riser, who level manipulates. So typically to make the Trish with the standard, like if you have Toad that you hard made, you special swap on their turn, and then you go Shooting Riser off of the Hulk, and then you Powered Inzectron off of your Citri, and then you dump a 4 to make this a 3, 6, and then adding the Frog becomes 11. And then you have one level 8 Dragite because it's a spell trap negate for a level 8 Synchro. That's a water type, which is cool. And then we can also play Boral Savage on our opponent's turn. So we do play that, and if we're not on the water lock restriction, we can still make it. And then the one Trish, we can make it. Generally, that's not what we're trying to do, but it's an option there for sure. But usually you want to special it off the Trish, level 11. And then we play the one Crystron Quarian Gondrax, which lets you banish cards on your opponent's turn from either their field or graveyard, monsters only. It is targeting, unfortunately, but it is quite nice. It can come up, and it does have a floating effect where if it's sent to graveyard by battle or card effect, you can target one banished monster except this card and special summon it to your field. Then we're also playing the Crystron Phoenix. He's much easier to make, and it banishes all your opponent's spell and trap cards on the field and graveyard, so good against some decks like Eldritch, which have a lot of back row, which could be problematic. And then it has an effect where one is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, or by battle or card effects, you can target one monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which is really cool. And then, of course, the big boss, Trishula, the level 11, like I explained a little earlier, how to make it. It's really cool. Lets you banish up to 3 cards that your opponent has. And then when it's destroyed by battle, you can special summon the Trish, level 9 one, and it gains attack, and then it also negates effects of opponent's monsters that are currently on the field, which is really cool. And lastly, our links, we're playing one Halky Fibrax to special summon our tuners from the deck, which is really cool, and 2 Anemones, which you go into before making the Hulk, which lets you special summon cards you may need to combo off from your graveyard, and then you can just link this off into Hulk after, and then you can just make another one on your next turn because it helps you extend and get better cards for your synchro plays, since it can fetch whatever's in your grave that's 1500 or less, which is majority of your monsters. So I'm also not including a side deck in this profile. It's pretty standard cards that you would run, like hand traps, things like Gamma Seal, which are nice in the deck. It's kind of up to your locals and how you'd want to play it, and I don't think this deck has any super secret spice that I'm aware of that you'd want to put in the side deck, which really helps, unlike some other decks. So that is the profile. I'd love to see what you guys say in the comments down below. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns, tips, things I missed out, things I should try, whatever you think. I'd love to see it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.